Welcome to ECIPE's Brief Take, where we take one big issue and 2 points of view with myself, David Henig, and my colleague, Renata Zilli. Today, what else? How is the world responding to the first days of President Trump's second coming? Renata, you're in Mexico right now. What are the key points of the discussion there?
Of course, Trump is the number one issue of discussion in Mexico. There were many points raised during his inaugural speech that touched upon Mexico regarding border security, massive deportations, and of course, tariffs. And although he never used the T word or the most beautiful word ever written in his speech, later in the day at the White House, he said he would impose a 25% tariff on all products coming from Mexico starting on February 1st. And as you can imagine, this brings a lot of tensions for Mexico and all the businesses that depend on its foreign trade, both on Mexico and the US. So, how does it look in London? What's the climate there? We know it's always cloudy, but does a second Trump administration can result in a storm?
I take that personally. We did see sun once in the last month. But anyway, we've got controversy because we put forward, or the UK government put forward, former EU Trade Commissioner Lord Mandelson as ambassador to the US, and there is rumours that he might be rejected. So that's causing some controversy. That again, not normal in these things. Then there's the controversy: should we seek a deal or should we try to hide away a little because we don't have a deficit? And Trump seems to quite like us, actually. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it might be a good thing. So last week, it seemed like the government was quite ambitious for a deal. This week, maybe less ambitious. And I think that's the Trump effect, that nobody quite knows how to deal with him, whether you're friend or foe. So we might try to hide, but I suppose you're too visible to the US in Mexico. So, I mean, is there anything positive you can say? I mean, are your supply chains actually so integrated that Trump will struggle with his trade plans?
I agree. I think we're too visible for Trump. We might need as well just borrow from the UK Harry Potter's invisible cloak to stay out of target. I'm not sure if Claudia Sheinbaum is a Potterhead too, but I would advise that the clever way to navigate this moment is not playing Trump's game. I understand that she needs to convey this national spirit of unity and nationalism within Mexico, but this is all politics. So if she understands that, she also should know that she shouldn't fall into the trap of playing the Trump politics game. She should play in the economic field where Mexico is competitive. I mean, I think it's pointless to engage in silly discussions over the name of the Gulf of Mexico, which, by the way, David, did you know that in Spanish, Gulf, Golfo, also means promiscuous? I don't know, maybe Golf Trump might in the end seem like a good fit. Uh, but anyway, going back to the other side of the Atlantic, what do you think about the UK? Can you hide away from Trump on trade when you are so reliant on the US for security?
Well, look, if we can find the invisibility cloak and we get enough tourists on the Harry Potter trail to make me think that we at least do very well out of that. Um, Look, with other presidents, you keep trade and security separate. Not with this one. And that's before we think about all the tech folk who are around Trump who are saying, you need to attack regulations in Europe about freedom of speech, digital platforms. Um, and then all of this in turn affects the UK's relationship with the EU. What it means is it creates a huge set of intellect challenges for this government. And bear in mind, this is kind of new to us. But between 2016 2020, Trump's first term, actually, the UK was still in the EU for most of it. The EU was doing most of the negotiating. It's different this time. What we need to do is find a stronger sense of direction. But I sense it will be quite a challenge. We might use the that cloak of invisibility as well, just occasionally.
I agree. Unfortunately, in this world, in Trump world, there's no magic wand to solve trade disputes. So I guess that neighbors and allies of big trade partners like Mexico and the UK will face different challenges. And since we just can't disappear, we need a much clearer sense of direction and perhaps to be one step ahead of the game, not by being reactive, but by taking a more proactive approach on the economic and foreign policy. So, well, that's it for today, and thanks for watching or listening. This is the first of what will be our regular series of ECIPE trade briefs with myself, Renata Zilli, and my colleague David Henning.
Goodbye.
Bye.